So you want to hear a story? You know, realtors have lots. You want to hear a story? Realtors have lots of stories to tell. So several years ago, probably more than 10 years ago, a gentleman contacted me, said his wife's mother passed away, and that they needed to sell a property in North Redondo. So the wife came down. I think I was on the phone. I sent out comms. The wife came down, and her job, every time she came to the house, was to declutter. Now, first of all, just to give you a backstory, Mom worked at one of the department stores, so she was a shopper. She had, 25 pairs of shoes in boxes. A lot of them had never been worn. She had clothes that had never been worn. She had 2 to 3 coffee pots, things. It was just crock pots. She had multiples of everything. Okay? The daughter would come down. Husband couldn't, but the daughter would come down, and her job was to start to declutter. This is one of the reasons why we say don't leave it for your kids, because they don't want it. They don't want the old photos. They don't want the old stories. They don't want the old jewelry. They want you to declutter so they don't have to deal with it. So daughter would come down, and she would go through, she would open a drawer, and she would go through a meltdown. And the meltdown was because she felt guilty that she hadn't spent more time with Mom. Okay? So I get it, but we're in an escrow now, and we need to get this place cleaned out. So finally, I had to contact the husband, and I said, you've got to come down and see this, because he wasn't hearing me. And the bottom line is, he looked at me and he said, what has she been doing? I said, she's been crying. So he said to her, I'm going to get a storage unit. We can bring the storage box up to where we live. They lived in the valley somewhere. I don't remember. Up to we live, and then you can take your time cleaning out and doing everything. Oh my gosh, it was the first level of the drama. Finally got to the point that it was 95% cleaned out, and here we are funding, and the buyer's agent decides to stop the funding because she doesn't believe that the property will be cleaned out totally before we end it up closing. Clue, buyer's agent can't stop the funding. It was a little bit of a mess. We had a little deterrent there. We did finally close. The place was empty. The buyers moved. We were able to take possession. But, so what did we learn from this? 1, don't leave all your crap for your kids. They don't want it. They don't see it. If they don't know what to do with it. 2, based on stuff that I've heard and learned and all that, if you are not speaking to a family member or an old friend, try to make amends before they pass away. Because there's a good chance that you're going to feel guilty, which isn't good. That you haven't been in touch with them, that you didn't communicate with them. Somewhere along the line, they'll always think about it, and you don't want to do that. So, and number 3, a buyer's agent cannot stop the funding. The transaction is going through. It's happening, and the buyer's agent cannot stop the funding. The buyer might have been able to, and I'm not quite sure how that works, but the buyer's agent couldn't stop the funding. So, if you want more stories from the road, let me know, because I got other stories to tell. By the way, if you're local and you would like to join us today, It says, do good with Chipotle, which is backwards to you, for the Torrance Rosefloat Association. You can get a copy of the flyer if you go to torrancerosefloat.org and go to the top line. I think it says support us, and then there's a down, click down, it says Restaurant for Roses. It'll take you to the Restaurant for Roses page, and you'll be able to see the flyer for Chipotle. Bring the flyer, bring your friend. You can order online for pickup using code da-da-da-da-da, or show this flyer in the restaurant. The fundraiser is from 4 to 8. So on your way home from work, stop at Chipotle. This is the one by Nordstrom's on Hawthorne Boulevard. So it's not the one at the crossroads, but it's that one. Or rather, Rolling Hills, Rolling Hills Shopping Center. No, whatever. It's not that one. It's that one. The one over there. Anyway, 310-864-9738. Call me if you have any real estate questions. Call me if you want to hear some more stories. Call me if you have a story. In fact, if you have a story, send me a message down below. Tell me your story. Anyway, it's Carol Gillis on this Wild Wednesday. Enjoy your day. Bye.